let's see what happens. Give me a quick moment and I will even give to you guys the magical ability of having Cass's name actually say Cass. Kaboom, just like that, as if I'm a magician. To the bottom right hand side of our map, the blue Terran player here, this is aLive. Going up against the red Terran to the top left hand side from Cascade, it's Cass. I still don't know why players don't have accounts with their actual IDs on other servers. Considering StarCraft 2 is free to play now, you can literally make a new account with your name on it so easily. So easily. It's insane how easy it is. It's insane. Madness. True madness. Alright guys, so we set up here and we have a little bit of a look to see what's going to be happening. In the next few moments we're going to be seeing the gas racks from Cass, and it is going to be the double gas coming in from aLive. Already seeing the kind of the divergence that you can often see in the early stages of Terran versus Terran, and that is the double gas versus the single gas. The single gas will be looking for a faster expand, whereas the double gas will be a little bit more aggressive. While definitely looking to expand at some point, it gives you a faster factory, a faster starport to work with, and obviously they can begin to go a long way in terms of how you can begin to dictate the game, you know, get the game going at your own pace, and so on and so forth. So, excited to see here just how aLive will try and get damage done early, as he does come across towards the upper left hand side of the map. It's kind of cool to have a TvT, I'm not going to lie. It's not every day we get a Terran player, 2 Terran players in one group, is it? It really isn't, as we do have the SCV just nibbling away here, already trying to slow down this command center from building, and again, just getting that information early. As the first Reapers come out, it's going to be super important for Cass to keep his alive, because obviously you don't want to lose your first Reaper when your factory is also later, and we'll see just how Cass follows up. Is there a reactor? Is there a second Reaper? That's what we're waiting to see here in the next couple of moments. And it is a reactor, so straight into a reactor means it's just one single Reaper, and it's a second Reaper from aLive, and that will create a bit of an awkward moment or two here for Cass in terms of defense, but he will start a bunker to defend this. So, setting up with the bunker, getting that ready to go, and we are just going to have the Reaper. A little bit of a fight here, and obviously a little bit of a trade out at the moment, so not much going down, not much happening. Obviously just the Reaper trying to break through, but the bunker is probably going to come up, but he actually gets another shot, so aLive is pushed back. The proxied starport that we saw coming in is going to be a Liberator right away, so a Liberator coming out here early, as we have got the couple of Reapers and a Hellion of aLive continue to come across towards the upper left hand side to try and get a little bit more done. A single Reaper in that bunker for now. It's actually Marines coming out of the barracks. The factory has not been put to use. A very weird build from Cass to just completely bypass factory usage. I'm a little bit worried, because if he starts to make himself a Banshee, he's going to have no anti-air. Maybe he makes a Raven. He needs some sort of anti-air though to deal with this Liberator. He really needs something to deal with this Liberator very soon, otherwise he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm a little bit worried, honestly, if I'm going to be truly perfectly honest with you guys. Even the Reaper getting caught there alive, picking up a nice quick kill. As the Liberator going to continue in towards the main base, so let's see what aLive can get done with this now. Liberator comes all the way around the left-hand side here, and we are going to be seeing a couple of Reapers, a Cyclone, and a Hellion. They're going to dive past the bunker, and honestly, once they're beyond the bunker, 6 Marines. Oh, surround on the Cyclone. That's actually hugely important here at the moment. But I think Cass is going to be able to clean this up much better than it seemed. The Liberator obviously gets hit by the Widow Mine, but is not going to go down, so kills the Widow Mine even, and 6 workers, and Order Turret will be the end of this Liberator unless it pulls away in time. Wow, the 1 hit point Liberator aLive, just keeping that literally alive for a little bit longer. He's going to try and escape, and the Marines are not quite in position to cut this off. Liberator's actually going to get out of here alive. That is somewhat impressive. The starport even just coming back home already. And behind us, aLive did get his own command center up. Did he do enough damage here? Yes, I think he did. You know, Orbital is now morphed in, he's a couple workers ahead. You know, he definitely slowed down Cass a little bit, although Cass does have an army, which right now aLive doesn't have. aLive is down on army supply, he only has 2 Cyclones, although 2 Cyclones are pretty powerful. If a Raven hits an interference matrix on one, that's just 1 Cyclone, and obviously that doesn't go so well for you. So you're going to be seeing that Liberator coming all the way back home. Will get repaired on up, and look at the confidence here from aLive. Takes the third CC in location. That's the biggest part of this that I find impressive, that he's so confident that you'll just build this in location, doesn't even care. Just like, yep, because you know, that's meant to happen. Of course it is. Of course I'm meant to build this right here. Build my CC in my main and floating it. That is so 2017. You know, that's just not what aLive wants to go for. Obviously, it's a big benefit because you lose, you know, less SCV build time, etc. as the, you know, as you don't have to float it over into position, right? So it makes a lot of sense, as we are going to have this, again, the command center finishing up soon. 2 more factories from Cass. We're going to be seeing some mech play guaranteed. We'll be seeing bio play out of aLive. Always fun to see a little bit of bio versus mech. It's, yeah, it's a fun clash in the Terran versus Terran. My favorite is, I think my favorite is still bio versus bio, marine tank versus marine tank, and then it goes bio versus mech. But then mech versus mech, I'm not gonna lie, I do not enjoy mech versus mech. Sometimes it just gets a little bit stalematey, a little bit silly because of liberators nowadays and who has air control. But bio against mech is usually pretty fun. It's usually pretty interesting. There's a lot of different ways in which it can go. We do have this first Liberator coming up back to the top side. So it is aLive who's looking to try and get a bit more damage dealt here. A couple of Cyclones coming around through the center. The Hellions on the map, I mean, they might find themselves a Mule over here, which is nice. There's actually no units really ready to defend anything from aLive. He's got a couple of units here. Starport finishes a reactor, maybe just Viking production from the get-go, maybe just medevacs right away, maybe he wants a bit of a drop, maybe start really establishing his position. Cass going to take the forward base. There's 5 workers going down though. This Liberator is putting in work. He gained another 7 worker kills here. Not 7 worker kills, but we got a couple Marines and 5 workers, so this is really nice here. As aLive even gets the Liberator away for a second time, and Cass just can't seem to shut that down just yet. Just can't seem to shut that down. And obviously, that does suck a little bit. Well, these couple of Hellions coming back in towards the center of the map once again. 2 more barracks from aLive on the way up in the main base. Obviously, I mean, he's on the 3rd CC already, so there's nothing to stop him from just setting up into his free base production, which is going to be 5 barracks. And again, a few Marines, a couple of tanks. Just moving out a little bit here. That stim pack is going to be finishing up very shortly. Barracks comes off over to the left-hand side here. Again, the armory going to be finishing up in a moment. Allows for the 2-2 upgrades. I mean, so far everything's going the way it should be for the non-meching player. The bio player should be faster on a 3rd base, which he was. The non-meching player should have a little bit of a higher economy, which he does. He should have better upgrades. He should have, you know, all these little things which should help him to fight against what is straight up a stronger composition over time. So that is definitely all coming away, you know, coming together here right now for aLive. And we do see Cass, just a few units kind of spreading themselves out right now. And again, a few tanks going to continue setting themselves up to see what else is going on, as we see a couple of engineering bays starting their 2-2 upgrades. I mean, Cass is where he wants to be as well. 3rd base, he's got his gases rolling. A 4th base would be the magical one. You know, if you get a 4th base up in mech as a mech player, boom. 8 gases, yes please. That's going to be absolutely incredible for you. So we'll see if Cass can get to that stage. We'll see what aLive is maybe going to do about it as well. At the same time, again, just a Marine off over to the right side and looking to see what's going on. Again, Cass, his army supply is actually way up there, 73 to 53, and considering that's all tanks and hellbats, that's terrifying. But of course, the mobility of aLive's army is something that will go a long way for himself. And he's even going to find himself this barracks pick off. I mean, it's not huge, but it does force another barracks to build if he wants to build further production structures further down the road. So, barracks is going to fall. And we are going to be seeing the couple of tanks here from Cass sieging up to get ready to go again. Combat shields will be finishing again in just a few moments' time. So just waiting for that to be wrapped up. And as combat shields finishes, again, just going to see these Marines stimming forwards, able to pick off a Marine there on the edge already. That's obviously a nice little something. And another Marine just being picked off there as well. Again, about 10 minutes into the mid-game here, and already aLive adding on a couple of Ravens. Intrigued to see how they get used. Intrigued as, I mean, obviously he's going to build up an air army, some Vikings as well. He wants to control the skies. I'm just intrigued by the Ravens. I mean, what do you do with the Ravens this early into the game? It's yeah, it is very interesting, I have to say. Well, a couple of moments here while not much is happening. Meanwhile, over in the Protoss versus Zerg, DNS is currently playing against Blind Game 1. They're about 7 minutes into game. Not really much happening. Some Phoenix are killing some drones, and it's a pretty standard game for the moment. So that game's continuing in case you were interested. It is also being shown on the Russian stream, so you guys can check that out if you would like. Obviously, for ourselves, we're going to stick with this TvT for now. And again, we're just waiting to see what happens next here. Waiting to see how this is going to go. Spot Servos is on the way up on this tech lab, just another upgrade which allows you to morph in Hellions to Hellbats faster, drop Vikings from the sky to the ground faster. It just gives you the more utility of the mech army. It's an upgrade which obviously is a nice little upgrade which was added recently. It's cool, it's interesting. And you do see a couple of 4s on the way out as well. Again, just all of this army right now, really from Cass, seems to be pushing towards the idea of building up a strong air control position. You know, he's already got a lot of Vikings. And yes, there's a few Vikings out from aLive, but nowhere near as many. He's slowly getting there, but nowhere near as quickly as his opponents. So it's all about the air. You can even see that Cass has given up +1 vehicle or +2 vehicle weapons to focus on the +2 ship weapons. So +2 ship weapons coming through right now. And we are going to be seeing the, again, another couple of command centers just finishing up here. In the next couple of moments, again, these extra barracks are going to finish up as well. And we just wait to see what will be coming up next. Still just so much bio, though. As more starports come up, I mean, aLive, he really just, I guess, wants to stop Cass from taking more than 4 bases. You can see he's already onto his 5th base, which means he gets the gas here, which allows him even more starports and even more of an air switch. So already moving in towards this, it gives aLive that kind of next stage of the game. And meanwhile, Cass is in this sort of position where, you know, he's still setting up and he's still building. He thinks, you know, okay, for now he definitely has a stronger army. But if aLive starts attacking around the place, and if aLive starts trading out units while being on more bases and the ability to build more air units, this game can switch very quickly into his favor. Pushing it over here, I mean, denying a refinery, that's already less gas mining for Cass. When we look at the income tab, you can see that aLive's gas count is really taking a lead here, and that means, again, he'll be able to build up a scarier air army over time, and that's what you have to do here with the bio play. You can't just rush into a fight, you have to play it out slow, and that's exactly what he's doing. That's a great anti-armor missile, it hits a lot of units, but there's no follow-up to it. There's no actual fight to come in here, and to actually be like, okay, well, let's punish you for that. Vikings and Ravens from aLive looking to fight as well, by the way. It's 12 to 15 Vikings in favor of Cass, but there is 6 Ravens to, well, now 5. Cass just got another couple of his Ravens up, and that does change things out a little bit. Both players maxed out. A lot of CCs coming up here from either side. Again, it's less about the minerals right now. It's more so about having vision. It's more so about those gas-focused units. So again, the extra CCs makes a lot of sense. It also means you can give away a lot of SCVs to kind of increase your army supply overall. So it's a move from both players, which is very much so expected to happen, and which is now therefore happening. You can see this bio stemming forwards here, and actually looks to try and deny this base again. If you can deny these bases, it's going to be a great one for you. Oh my god, those anti-armor missiles get destructive. Cass pulls back though, it's aLive that pulls back there for a moment. The anti-armor missiles on his own army was pretty painful. That really is pretty painful, as we are going to be seeing the the bio coming in once again. These Marines are going to target down a command center, continue to push forwards. I mean, the 4s here, they are still under anti-armor missile, and they go down pretty quickly. Another anti-armor missile, and again, the bio of aLive takes some hits. Look at the production tabs, though. Already aLive, back up 180 supply, just keeping all of this bio alive. I mean, imagine this dies. Suddenly, maybe the supplies are a lot closer. I mean, this is what, 16, 18, plus 10, 28 supply? Yeah, you lose 28 supply, these supplies are way closer together. But as it stands, Cass wasn't able to quite finish cleaning up there. And again, the reproduction is just a little bit faster for the bio player, even if he is still also adding in some air units and all the rest of it along the way. Alright, well, just waiting to see what's next. Obviously, aLive is still expanding to the bottom left-hand side. He's already got this orbital in position. I mean, even if you don't actually commit to this orbital, even if it never really gets to mine properly, just it being there gives you that opportunity of just dropping a few mules. Even if you just mine for a little bit, you've got orbitals to give away at this stage. Biostims in again. There's not too many siege tanks here. Planetary Fortress isn't ready just yet. Anti-armor missiles are kind of messy on each side. The few Marines supporting though from aLive seems to allow him to break on through, and he's going to be able to really finish this off right now. As we see, the Vikings are dead, the fort is dead. That's pretty much it, right? This planetary fortress is going to go down as well now. As the planetary falls, we are going to be seeing these mules, missile turrets, refineries and more continue to get picked away at. And this is pretty much it. Again, another couple of refineries going down, and that's GG. Cass taps out of game 1, and aLive will take the game here. It was a tough one. It wasn't easy for him to blabber on and to buy time and wait and so on. So, again, I appreciate you guys sitting through that quickly. As we get back into this, let's go and cast. But very quickly, I just want to say, Jibs, my friend, coming in for the 4-month resub. Get some woody hearts in the chat, please, for Jibs. And his 4 months of love on the channel. Thank you very much for the 4 months. Hope you're having a great day. And, yeah, thank you for continuing to support the stream. As we do have, to the bottom left-hand side, the blue Terran player. This is Cass. And in the upper right-hand side, the red Terran player is aLive. Yeah, just telling Flutch, I'm not going to do much after the stream today, and we even aren't maybe going to cast all the replays we usually would from a group like this. When I say replays, we cast 5 matches live, and the other matches are playing at the same time, so usually we come in afterwards and cast some replays. We're probably going to keep the replays off afterwards for another day, because I do have a sponsorship meeting with Sneak today, to talk about them continuing to support the events and to stream into the future. So obviously Sneak are the sponsor for this event in particular. This event would not be happening without them. So do throw an exclamation mark Sneak into the chat and do check them out. Click that link and see what's up. I'm just quickly going to throw on Bly and DNS happening in the other matchup right now. And as you can kind of see, maybe the tail end of this fight, Bly just does not have anything to get rid of the massive carriers that DNS finds himself with so far in this game number 1. So DNS is looking good to take game number 1 off of Bly. That's continuing there over on the Russian stream if you want to keep in touch with it, and you guys can follow the rest of that action. We're going to focus up on this TvT though, aLive versus Cass. So let's see how this is going to go. And yes, just to answer a couple of questions. Yes, it's best of 3. Nurture did beat Bly 2-1. And I think that's all of us caught up in the chat. So, with that said, let's actually get into this with aLive and Cass. And already, the expansions from both players this game, rather than the last game where aLive did open with the double gas, right? He did go a little bit more aggressive. Oh, this Reaper just actually, the trade shots, the SCV goes down. But losing the SCV allows now aLive to take the Reaper health advantage, which makes it very difficult for Cass to get out. But he is going to keep the Reaper alive, and that's very important here. Again, it's one of those scenarios where if you lose this Reaper, you have nothing else until the reactor finishes building and you get some production. That probably costs you another couple of SCVs, so it's a risky play, but Cass gets away with it, and aLive is going to get away with it as well. So neither player really kind of punished on too much just yet, and both players still in a very fine position, moving onwards into the next stage of this now. As you do see, that Reaper just sat out the front of the natural, and yeah, just waiting to see what the next sort of stage of this is going to be. Obviously, starport's coming down. Waiting to see what the real choices are. So far, double Hellions from both. So Hellion-focused opener definitely opens up some possibilities of drop-based play and stuff like that. So intrigued to see how we continue on in that scenario. Let's see what comes out of the starport. There's already a tech lab here from aLive, which the starport could jump on top of. There's a tech lab as well from Cass, who actually now goes into a couple of Marines. There's a Raven here initially, kind of Cass. And the question still remains here from aLive as to what he throws down. He's got the gas for a Raven. He's also got the gas to start up Cloak and a Banshee, but it is a Raven from both sides for the moment. Well, we are going to be seeing the couple of Hellions continue to move out in towards the center. 2 more Hellions here from aLive already, bottom left. Just kind of hanging around and chilling out. Bunker on the way down from Cass as well, and we are going to be seeing the Reaper and the Hellion going to be jumping into that bunker. A couple of Marines, again, just sets this bunker up. It's kind of weird. It's not something you usually see so early, but it's because he wants to kind of bypass other factory-based unit production, and instead he kind of focuses on Marine production earlier, so it's interesting. And it works out until something drops past it. Again, guys, just going to very quickly show you here, DNS has just won game number 1 against Bly, and so that is DNS up 1-0 against Bly over in that best of 3 series, which is continuing as we go. Alright, well, In the meantime, we see a Viking on the way up from Cass, a couple of Cyclones from aLive. I mean, again, aLive so far is looking very mech-focused this game. Third CC already on the way up, which is something that both players are aiming for here. Getting up into a fast third command center gives you the opportunity to just set yourself into a good position moving forwards, and into a position that really allows you to, you know, stay in a nice strong spot. And third CC coming up here, we'll see how that continues. We do see a few Hellions from aLive just moving out through the center. And we are going to be seeing what happens again next. I know I'm asking this question a lot rather than just telling you guys, but it's still very much up in the air. I guess the extra gases are more likely to kind of confirm mech, and obviously with more Cyclones on the way, it definitely looks to be mech from aLive. You know, out of Cass though, I guess he's swapped onto that Starport Reactor Tech Lab factory. I mean, that's still a very kind of gas-heavy kind of production setup, even just, you know, even with 4 gases. I think it is still mech though, right? Because if it wasn't mech, it would probably be a tech lab on this barracks and at least stim already starting up, right? So I think that's the difference, and we're probably going to see mech versus mech here, but 2 very different ways of playing mech, because already Cass is aiming for the air army, and aLive is aiming for the Cyclones, which are just going to be so powerful in the, you know, on the ground here. So looking to see how this will go. A Cyclone 2 already just deflecting a Hellion. The rest of the Cyclones are, I guess, just held back in the main base. There's actually not too many of them just yet. It's nice having them split up. Obviously does a couple of things. Not only does it have units in position for a drop, it also means that the Hellions here poking up the ramp don't actually get too much information right from the get-go. So it's a nice little kind of 1-2 of bonuses gained there by aLive, as we will see the third CC dropping down in location over here. So that drops on down, that gets set up, and in the meantime, again, just another couple of factories building up and getting ready to go. Barracks moves off the reactor. This factory finishes up as well, starts up a tech lab. Again, +1 vehicle weapons also on the way from aLive in the natural expansion, third CC, mining away, some extra SCVs coming across, and again, more units coming across the map now from aLive. He's already been keeping the kind of presence on the map with these few Hellions. Cyclones coming across as well. A couple of tanks sieging, and again, it is obviously the Vikings, which are one of the more important parts of this from Cass's point of view. He is really focused on this air army early in the game. As both players will set up their third base, aLive is just going to already jump in towards a 4th command center out in position. I mean, he has map control, so why on earth not? Yeah, okay, there's a couple of Hellions here and there out on the map. They also have some, you know, map control to some extent, but aLive feels very confident that he's going to be able to hold that 4th base and that nothing's coming across that's actually going to kill it. Sure, a couple of Hellions could come in and stop it from building for a while by killing the SCV, but then aLive just sends another SCV over and a couple of units to just, you know, clean out the Hellions, right? And so he gains from the fact he's got it in position already. That's always going to be a big benefit. Again, the Cyclones locking on, and they are pushing this barracks back away towards this third base. We see a couple of tanks sieged up, and again, I mean, no real way to break this right now. It's a mech versus mech game, and generally mech versus mech games are going to be a little bit more passive, a little bit more kind of laid back until the later stages, where the players truly are set up and ready to jump into some of the action. These depots finishing up off over to the left-hand side, and just going to be having a couple of Ravens, a couple of Vikings here from aLive. All of these are setting up in a way to allow them to kind of, you know, fight against that air army eventually. You can see that aLive's actually gone up to a 2nd starport now, double reacted starport against just a single starport of Cass, and that's going to be his way to catch up to what is already 9 Vikings, but that's now just one more production cycle away. A few Hellions that were in the forward position from aLive getting a little bit caught off there. Okay, they get pushed back, but I mean, again, not really much of an issue at the end of the day, right? I think he gets pushed back, nothing too crazy. And some more Vikings and a couple of Ravens continue to gather themselves together. The Cyclones gather themselves up as well here towards the center of the map. We're just going to be seeing this SCV of aLive just looking to throw down a sensor tower. Again, creating map control, creating safety for himself. Yet another starport is going to be very important in terms of just how he aims to be able to build here. It's a tech lab this time, so he will be able to add on more Ravens to his composition. He has 2 so far against the 1 of Cass. Let's see if that goes anywhere from here. Corvus reactor on the way up from Cass as well, another Raven on the way out, and we are just going to be seeing those few Hellions poking away down the left hand side. So Just again pulling back, and Cass just taking his own 4th base now. Again, a much later 4th base from Cass than aLive, and that's one of the big issues. aLive has had these extra gases for so long here, and gas income is so important for a Terran player playing mech. It is going to give aLive just a straight up kind of edge in this game. And while Cass hasn't maybe done anything strategically incorrect so far, just the fact that he let aLive get away with a fast 4th base is already given him a disadvantage to now play against, and to now have to try and find a way out of. So pushing forwards here, Hellion. Obviously leaving the charge in. A couple of times for siege up. Ooh, the first connection there is actually painful. And actually just go the way of Cass. Here we go, anti-armor missiles from both sides. Everything gets painted orange for a moment or two. Another anti-armor missile hitting in. These Vikings of aLive though are going to win out in the sky battle. And that obviously becomes an issue. Those tanks are all clumped together as well. I wonder if that has maybe some implication here if the Vikings can get over and land on top of them. We are going to be seeing some Liberators starting up from aLive. Realizing he has the air control, it obviously becomes a big thing for him. If he has air control continuing, he's going to be able to get a lot done. He lifts back up into the skies here, and he's going to get rid of a couple of Ravens. Pulling away, anti-armor missile does some damage yet again. aLive is just completely breaking through at the moment. Another tank falls. Again, the Vikings still controlling up in the skies. It looks as though this is pretty much going to be it. Some tanks trying to relocate, but they take so much damage in the process. The Vikings look as though they're going to try and land on top just to try and help clean out a little bit further, and they're going to be successful in that. Those tanks have to unsiege once more, and I mean, even if you clean up these Vikings now, the tanks are pretty much all gone. There's still Hellbats in your natural, and aLive is in full control of this game number 2. A little bit more kind of explosions taking place. This base here very exposed now, of course. I imagine it's one of the next locations I'll be attacked into. Actually, no support for these Liberators any longer because the Vikings went down, right? So that's kind of a weird little something because he made Liberators because he had air control, but now the air control is gone. He still wins out that fight, and now your siege is up, and well, one auto turret will do the job of helping out here quite a bit, but tanks are starting to fall, and Cass knows there's no true surviving of this one. That's a GG.